The constant pursuit of wisdom is the less traveled road, but the most rewarding one in our lives. Some things are like seeds. We plant them in silence, away from curious eyes, so they can grow and flourish without interference. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics comes in. They teach us to guard and cultivate within ourselves without the hurry to show it to the world. The Stoics, great thinkers in history, knew that not everything should be shared. They valued their secrets, their achievements, and their lessons, because they understood that by revealing too much of the true essence of things, it might be lost to them. Every joy and sadness, every lesson and challenge, they are pieces of the story we compose. And if we share everything without thinking, perhaps we stop living deeply, because just like a flower doesn't grow if it's constantly touched, our growth also needs privacy, a space of our own where we look at our mistakes and victories and decide how we want to move forward in the best way. So when we don't share something, it's not to hide, but to protect. True growth comes from the balance between what we show and what we keep, just for ourselves. In a world that loves to display everything, it can sometimes be challenging to recognize and appreciate what's behind our accomplishments. In this video, we will discuss 13 subjects that we recommend you keep to yourself. All of them are important, so stay tuned until the end of the video to find out why. Number 1. Don't talk about your achievements. Imagine diving into the dark and deep waters of your own soul. For the Stoics, the pursuit of wisdom and virtue resembled this profound journey. They believed that true fulfillment wasn't in displaying external triumphs, but in introspection and continuous evolution. Every challenge, every struggle was fought not in public arenas, but in the silent landscapes of the spirit. By discussing their victories, they offered us a deep reflection. Ego and vanity, when nurtured, can become barriers that stand between us and true virtue. When we deeply assess our personal growth and achievements, we draw inner strength from within ourselves. We become like a protective shield, guarding us against the unpredictable fluctuations of external praise and criticism. History is replete with stories of individuals who boasted about their accomplishments from the rooftops, only to face unforeseen consequences. Let's take the myth of Icarus as an example. Even though he wasn't a real historical figure, this story taps into the essence of human nature across eras. Enthralled by the excitement of flight, he flew too close to the sun, defying the warnings of his father. His wax and feathers melted, and he plunged into the sea. His arrogance, his desire to push boundaries for the sake of pride and recognition, became the very reason behind his downfall. Accepting success with humility doesn't diminish its significance, it strengthens it. The modern age, with its constant connectivity, presents unique challenges but also opportunities. The next time you achieve something, take a moment to appreciate it, cherish it, and then carefully decide whether to share it with others. Number 2. Don't talk about challenges. In the Stoic path to wisdom and virtue, every step was filled with meaning. The deviations and stumbling blocks weren't mere obstacles. They carved the soul, shaped character, and taught about the true nature of grandeur. It wasn't the visible triumph that counted, but the internal battles, often invisible, that determined a person's inner strength. But if these struggles held so much value, why did the Stoics advise not to speak about challenges not overcome? The answer lies in their astute perception of human nature. They believed that ego and pride could cloud our vision, making us blind to true virtue. The relentless pursuit of external recognition and praise could indeed be a veil that hides our true potential. The Stoics didn't value achievements that could be easily displayed as trophies. They sought true glory in acts that elevated humanity, acts rooted in values like justice, generosity, and wisdom. Real wealth for them wasn't in the shine of gold, but in the radiance of morally upright character and a tranquil soul. The philosophy of loving fate was fundamental to this understanding. The Stoics didn't despair in the face of adversity. Instead, they balanced the taste of victory and defeat with equanimity, aware that the tapestry of life is woven with threads of circumstances often beyond our control. Number 3. Don't talk about your resentment. Have you ever felt trapped in a web of emotions, where each thread is a bitter memory, a grudge that refuses to fade? The timeless wisdom of Stoicism invites us to reflect deeply on the invisible weight of resentment. To these ancient philosophers, harboring resentment was like an anchor that prevented the spirit from sailing freely through the season of life. But what if we could choose a less trodden path, where forgiveness and understanding were our faithful companions? Behind this historical perspective, we find an unwavering focus on virtue and self-control. Ask yourself, have you ever carried a burden on your back for a long time? Have you felt the weariness, exhaustion, and resentment? This burden is an invisible chain that binds us, limiting our freedom and inner peace. It's fascinating to realize that often resentment springs from misunderstanding and can imprison us in a cycle of bitterness. The Stoics encouraged us to seek the origins of others' actions, to understand before we judge. Forgiveness, then, is not just an altruistic gesture, but an act of profound wisdom that unravels the mysteries of the human soul and frees us from the chains of negativity. Because anger and resentment are silent poisons, flames that when fed consume our tranquility and well-being. On the other hand, by choosing the path of forgiveness and understanding, we find an oasis of serenity and peace. Thus, guided by Stoic wisdom, we are reminded of a universal truth. Forgiveness is the key to our own freedom. It is a beacon that guides us through emotional storms and offers us refuge in the harbor of serenity. By embracing this lesson, we discover that at times the greatest strength lies in letting go, in freeing ourselves from the chains of the past and sailing toward a horizon of understanding and peace. Number 4, don't talk about your good deeds. Imagine a candle that silently lights up a dark room. Its light is gentle, unobtrusive, but it warms and illuminates everything around it. Kindness for the Stoics was much like this flame. They believed that true generosity didn't need to be proclaimed in public squares or shouted from the mountaintops. It should, in its essence, be a genuine and subtle gesture done out of the simple desire to do good without expecting praise and return. Why might this perspective seem strange in today's self-promotion culture? For a profound reason, as the Stoics recognize the danger of turning kindness into a spectacle. After all, if we brag about every altruistic act, we might inadvertently seek the fleeting warmth of applause. Keeping our good deeds in the cloak of anonymity provides us with a sacred moment of reflection and pause, a moment of intimate connection with ourselves where we can question whether our actions were genuine or motivated by other interests. This secret self-analysis becomes a catalyst for personal improvement. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lay the belief that true kindness doesn't seek the spotlight. It manifests in acts of compassion, quiet and authentic. This timeless wisdom envelops us with its essence and reminds us of a fundamental truth. Often, the greatest act of kindness is the one offered without expecting anything in return. Number 5. Don't talk about your doubts and uncertainties. Picture yourself in a vast forest where each tree represents a doubt and each shadow an uncertainty. Instead of shouting your hesitation to the world, you choose silent introspection, seeking answers within your own soul. This is the path of the Stoics. At the core of Stoic philosophy, it's recognized that confidence isn't a flag to be waved in front of the world, but an inner beacon that guides our way. Constantly revealing our doubts to the world is like exposing a lighthouse to a torrential rain. It can silently extinguish. We find the solidity needed not to be swayed by the opinions and judgments of others. Modesty, in turn, is not just an external virtue, but a shield that protects the spirit. Thus, bearing all uncertainties can strip the soul of its dignity. Therefore, always choose when and with whom you will share your vulnerabilities. While many seek answers in the clamor of the external world, understand the importance of silence and introspection. Believe that often the answers to the deepest questions resonate in the quiet chambers of the heart and mind. By harboring certain uncertainties, you can cultivate deeper reflection and a more intimate connection with your essence. In summary, Stoic wisdom whispers precious advice amidst the storms of doubt. There's no need to shout your uncertainties to the world. By embracing silence, modesty, and introspection, we find a safe route through the forest of uncertainties. Guided by the internal beacon of our confidence and understanding, this is the power of silent self-reflection and the internal confidence that the Stoics bequeath to us. Number 6. Don't talk about your deepest dream. Imagine for a moment a rare and delicate seed in the palm of your hand. It represents your most intimate dreams, your most fervent aspirations. How would you protect it from harsh winds and storms that could prevent it from sprouting? The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, provide an answer. They saw our goals and dreams as these precious seeds destined to be planted in the fertile depths of our souls, far from the storms of others' opinions and criticisms. After all, who hasn't felt the flame of a dream extinguish prematurely when exposed to the cold of skepticism or the heat of ridicule? Within Stoic philosophy, self-sufficiency is celebrated as an invaluable gem. True wisdom, true accomplishment, is not a chalice to be displayed, but an internal well from which one can always draw. It makes no sense to seek fleeting external approval when we can find richness and purpose in the recesses of our own minds. Perhaps the quietest and yet most eloquent of virtues, the Stoics recognize the subtlety of the line that separates healthy ambition from arrogance. Choosing silence about our grand goals was not an act of shyness, but a deliberate choice to walk with humility, avoiding the pride that sometimes blinds. In the end, the Stoic legacy speaks to the heart. There's no need to shout our dreams from mountaintops. Instead, protect them, cultivate them, and watch them flourish in their silent and majestic glory. This safeguard is an invitation to rediscover the strength that resides within us, and to recognize that at times, the most precious treasures are those we keep just for ourselves. Number 7. Don't talk about your next steps. Imagine a chess master moving their pieces silently as their opponents attempt to decipher their next moves. This is the path of the Stoics. They understood that by revealing every move in their lives, they could be subject to the whimsical winds of external judgment, often laden with criticism, envy, and even malicious intentions. The heart of Stoic philosophy lies in the virtue of self-sufficiency. Why depend on the fleeting applause of an audience when true strength resides in the inner theater of the mind? By keeping their life strategies to themselves, the Stoics were not simply concealing their plans, but strengthening their inner core of confidence, independent of the tides of opinion that flow around them. This leads us to humility, a subtle yet profound quality that the Stoics fervently upheld. Revealing grandiose strategies could easily be interpreted as a cry of arrogance, a triumphant announcement of superiority. By choosing discretion, they struck a balance between ambition and humility, ensuring that their steps were steady but not presumptuous. Thus, the Stoic tradition presents us with a rich perspective on the value of secrecy. It teaches us that protecting our goals is more than just a strategy. It is a way to fortify our being, to honor our self-sufficiency, and to walk with humility in a world where external validation seems to be the currency. The Stoics invite us to look inward, find our internal compass, and tread our own path with confidence and wisdom. Number 8. Don't talk about your moments of solitude. The Stoics found strength in quietude. They didn't view solitude as a void to be filled, but as a sanctuary where the mind could dance freely, free from the shackles of others' opinions. Contrary to what many may think, the Stoics did not shun solitude. They embraced it. In their moments of retreat, they didn't feel isolated but connected to a rich inner universe filled with insights. It was in this stillness, this profound solitude, that the deepest thoughts arose unpolluted by external noise. In the current landscape, where validation through social media has become a priority for many, Stoic philosophy invites us to re-evaluate these priorities. By moving away from the constant need for exposure, we find a space where our soul can breathe. It is in this deep silence that we discover the melody of our essence, a sound that doesn't need to be shared but can only be felt in its purity and truth. Solitude, in the Stoic sense, was not a retreat from the world, but a deeper connection with oneself and the universe. In the quiet moments of introspection, they found the strength to face life's challenges with resilience and wisdom. In a world where constant connectivity and external validation often drown out our inner voices, the Stoic philosophy reminds us of the importance of embracing solitude as a source of inner strength and clarity. It encourages us to turn inward, to listen to the melody of our own essence, and to find truth and purity in the depths of silence. In this age of noise and distraction, the Stoics' message remains a timeless reminder of the power of solitude in nurturing our souls and guiding our actions with authenticity and wisdom. Number 9. Don't talk about others. Criticizing others is like throwing stones into a calm lake, creating ripples that disturb the serenity of the water. The Stoics understood that engaging in judgments and criticisms was a diversion from their own internal mirror, wasting precious energy on matters beyond their sphere of influence. Instead of pointing fingers, the Stoics chose to extend a hand. They guided themselves with empathy and compassion, recognizing that every person is a universe filled with internal and external battles, joys and sorrows, victories and defeats. Criticizing another person would be a failure to acknowledge the richness of the complexity of the human condition. They also realized that criticism, instead of building bridges, often erected walls in its quest for tranquility and harmony. In this way, they understood that harsh words and hasty judgments did not lead to peace, but discord and separation. Stoic wisdom sends us a clear and timeless message. We must be guardians of our words and thoughts. Instead of focusing on the faults of others, let's turn our gaze to our own reflection, seeking growth and virtue. In a world where criticism is easily launched, Stoic teachings inspire us to embrace understanding, acceptance, and kindness, casting stones of empathy into the lake of humanity and appreciating the waves of positivity they generate. Number 10. Don't talk about your future plans. Have you ever felt the weight of other people's expectations placed upon you, curious about your next steps? There is something truly empowering about keeping your future plans with graceful discretion, instead of letting them become the topic of dinner-table conversations. Your dreams, aspirations, and desires are yours to cherish. By not disclosing every detail, you maintain an element of mystery and unpredictability. We live in an age where everyone is eager to share, but there is power in holding on to your cards, letting your actions speak louder than words. History provides examples of individuals who, in the past, were proud of their plans only to see them crumble, like Napoleon Bonaparte. His military genius was unmatched, but his excessive confidence often revealed his plans, and his underestimation of his opponents became his weakness. The Battle of Waterloo serves as a poignant reminder that revealing too much can lead to one's downfall. Similarly, business tycoons like Howard Hughes were famous for keeping their projects secret, ensuring their competitors were always one step behind. It's a lesson in the power of the unpredictable and the strategic advantage of discretion. Today, we are more connected than ever, with social media platforms pushing us to announce every intention. But Stoic philosophy reminds us that there is value in stepping back and approaching things with more thoughtfulness. By keeping your future plans private, you not only protect your goals, but also grant yourself the freedom to adapt and change without external pressures. Seneca's advice flows smoothly through our thoughts. If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. It's an enticing reminder to set our course, but share it sparingly and primarily with ourselves. Keeping your future plans private doesn't mean you're fearful or uncertain. On the contrary, it shows your strong understanding of the dynamics of the world. You're not keeping secrets for the sake of secrecy. You're preserving the sanctity of your journey, ensuring that when the world witnesses your steps, they are always strong, confident, and one step ahead. Number 11. Don't talk about unlearned lessons. Few things are as universal as mistakes. We all fail. We all make errors. But it's in the response to these failures that a person's character is truly revealed. For the Stoics, these moments were not ones of despair, but of revelation and growth. Many of us in our contemporary society feel pressure to reject an image of perfection. We showcase our triumphs and hide our defeats, but the Stoics show us a different approach. Embrace mistakes, not as a sign of weakness, but as a map for self-development. By choosing to keep your unlearned lessons private, the Stoics were not trying to evade their responsibilities or hide from their failures. Instead, they sheltered themselves for a deep and intimate process of reflection. Each failure was seen not as an end, but as a beginning, a new chapter in the ongoing quest for virtue and wisdom. Just as an artist turns a mistake into a crucial part of their work, the Stoics turned their failures into foundations for growth. In a world where oversharing and overexposure are common, the Stoic stance reminds us of the value of introspection and the dignity of silence. All of us face mistakes and failures in life, and Stoic philosophy advises us to perceive them as an integral part of our personal journey. In the modern world, societal pressures often push us to distance ourselves from errors and stumbles, but Stoic philosophy suggests that we need to recognize their true value. When we conceal our failures and create a perfect image, we miss opportunities for learning and growth. Conversely, Stoic philosophy encourages us to identify our mistakes, understanding that they are opportunities for maturation and progress. Just as an artist can turn a mistake into an essential part of their work, we can also turn our mistakes into a foundation for personal development. By questioning, reflecting, and learning from our mistakes, we not only improve ourselves, but also find courage in accepting life's imperfections. Stoic philosophy reminds us of the value of seeking inner progress and the importance of silence in a noisy and revealing era. We can find respect in acknowledging that no one is perfect and everyone has the capacity to learn and develop from their own mistakes. Number 12. Don't speak of your weaknesses. There's a saying that every hero has an Achilles heel, a weakness that can undermine their happiness, no matter their strengths. Humans, in their beautifully imperfect nature, are composed of strengths and weaknesses. These weaknesses, the delicate and tender parts of our souls, deserve protection, not to be put on display. This is not about hiding or denying them, but about treating them with the respect they deserve. Man is affected not by events, but by the way he perceives them, suggesting that it's not our weaknesses that define us, but our perspective on them. Embracing these significant weaknesses, they are marks of past wounds, lessons learned, and even the fears of future battles. They are also deeply personal. Sharing them can make us vulnerable to external judgment, which can sometimes distort our understanding or acceptance of them. By acknowledging these private aspects, we strengthen ourselves, ensuring they are not exploited or misunderstood. This provides us with an opportunity to work with them, turning weaknesses into areas of growth. Throughout history, many figures were keenly aware of their weaknesses, but chose to keep them close, using them as sources of encouragement rather than hindrances. Abraham Lincoln, for example, faced numerous failures and battled bouts of sadness. Instead of openly discussing these difficulties, he internalized them, allowing them to foster his understanding and leadership. In contrast, Julius Caesar's weakness was his trust in close allies, leading to a tragic outcome on the Ides of March. These historical events emphasize the importance of recognizing our weaknesses, handling them carefully, and ensuring they do not lead to our downfall. Sharing too much is a common norm today. The pressure to lay bare one's soul, to reveal everything, can be overwhelming. However, there is power in choosing silence. Recognize your weaknesses, cherish them, work with them, but don't feel compelled to expose them to the scrutinizing world. Keeping some pages of your life discreet is perfectly fine. Secrets have their own allure, and strength sometimes lies in the chapters yet unread. Number 13. Don't reveal your secrets. Have you ever stumbled upon a small, seemingly insignificant thing that made your heart race? Perhaps it's a dream you've tucked away deep inside, a simple desire like learning to play a new musical instrument, or maybe dancing in the rain. These small personal aspirations often remain as whispered thoughts, easily lost in the noise of our daily lives. You may feel the urge to share these fleeting moments, these modest dreams, with others. A quiet voice within us says, "Share it, and it becomes real." But is it truly? Often prematurely voicing these dreams can lead to them being trampled by unsolicited opinions of others. Not everyone will understand why you want to learn to play the ukulele or why you suddenly start gardening, and that's perfectly okay. As a Stoic philosopher once said, throughout the centuries, whispered dreams are meant for the soul, not for the crowd. Socrates never wrote down his thoughts. Most of what we know about him comes from his student Plato, but there's something intriguing here. The absence of direct writings from Socrates creates a mysterious atmosphere around his true beliefs, his personal aspirations. What were those modest aspirations he nurtured? We may never know, and that's the beauty of it. It's a powerful reminder that not everything needs to be disclosed. Some of the best treasures should be kept close to the chest. Take a moment today, in a world where everything is laid out, to hold on to dreams you've never shared. Let them grow in the silence of your heart, and when they are strong enough to face the world, to face both welcome and criticism, then you can let them out. Until then, protect them, for they are your secret strength, the serene symphony of hope. They are the magic waiting to unfold in your own way, at your own pace, for your personal growth. When a caterpillar cocoons itself, a profound transformation occurs inside that cannot be seen from the outside world. Imagine if the caterpillar felt the need to announce every small step. It would not only be disruptive, but could even hinder its metamorphosis process. Similar to this natural phenomenon, there is an undeniable sanctity in keeping details of personal growth to oneself. Every step you take to self-improve, every new piece of knowledge or self-awareness you gain is a treasure. But here's the interesting part. Not all treasures are meant for display. Some treasures are meant for appreciation, to resonate deep within your soul. Now, this is not to advocate absolute silence. Sharing can be a part of healing, and it can even inspire others. However, the Stoics emphasized the importance of reflection over proclamation. Seneca wove his wisdom into words, into works, once declaring, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Notice that he didn't say, "Let everyone know how you live." We live in an era where documenting our lives has become second nature. The rush to tweet a thought, share a personal milestone on Instagram, or vlog about mental struggles can sometimes overshadow the essence of that experience. Before you share, pause and ask yourself, is this for validation or genuine connection? Once again, drawing inspiration from the Stoics and perhaps reflecting on Marcus Aurelius's Meditations offers a fundamental insight. The universe is changing, life is an opinion. Change is a profound personal journey, and opinions about it vary greatly. As you navigate the broad currents of personal growth, sometimes a powerful story is more compelling than a series of updates. The gentle shifts and flowing emotions in your life's canvas are painted with broad strokes of happiness, sorrow, love, anger, and countless other emotions. While we often publicly express our emotions today, especially in the era of real-time status updates and stories, there is silent power in holding back some emotions. How often do we pause to truly sit with our emotions before expressing them outwardly? Today's world celebrates speed, but remember that there's wisdom in letting emotions settle, in truly understanding them before sharing. Some emotions, when preserved and contemplated, grow into deeper insights or transform into something entirely different. So, the next time your emotions overflow, perhaps give them space to breathe. After all, they are your personal journey through life's vast landscape, and not every journey needs an audience. Some journeys are best taken alone, to be shared only when the heart truly desires. Thank you for watching this video. We would love to hear your thoughts. In the 13 subjects, which one impressed you the most? Please share in the comments below. Your support is the foundation for us to continue delivering enlightening knowledge content to every corner of the world. If you have any topics or ideas you'd like to discuss further, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with anyone you think might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We hope you'll continue to follow us and learn and grow together.